Did you know that every 9 minutes a child in the US is sexually assaulted? Hello, my name is Dalila and I work with the VIDA Partnership at Chat Center. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and today we're going to have a short conversation around this topic. Did you know that every 92 seconds an American is sexually assaulted? And every 9 minutes that victim is a child. Statistics also show that nearly 1 in 10 women and 1 in 45 men have been sexually assaulted by an intimate partner in their lifetime. So sexual assault is something, as we can see, that is happening very frequently. So it is important to have conversations around what sexual assault is and what we can do to support someone who has experienced this. So what is sexual assault? Sexual assault can be defined as sexual contact or behavior that forces someone to do something sexually that they did not give consent to, something that they didn't want to do. Sexual assault is a crime based on power and control. And some examples include unwanted touching or kissing, forcing someone to do sexual acts, rape or attempted rape, sexual contact with someone that cannot give consent, so for example, a child or a minor, and using sexual insults. A very big myth that we encounter all the time is that most survivors of sexual assault make a report to law enforcement right away. The reality is that rape is the least reported violent crime in the US. 90% of sexual assault victims that reported in a study that they experienced sexual assault stated that they did not report the assault right away. And there's a lot of reasons as to why sometimes people don't report right away. Some of those reasons include concern that no one will believe them, fear of safety, so for example, that the aggressor will get back to them. They feel ashamed or embarrassed. There's a fear of being blamed for the abuse. And there's also barriers for the Latinx community. So sometimes those who might be undocumented or immigrants might think that they don't have rights and that they shouldn't be able to file a police report or report the crime. But the reality is that you do have rights, regardless of immigration status, and that you can make a report. There's also, before I move on, there's also another barrier and a myth that states that sexual assault or that you can prevent sexual assault if you stay away from dangerous places. But the reality is that sexual assault can happen anywhere and to anyone. Sexual assault does not discriminate against anyone, regardless of economic status, sex, sexuality, physical strength, economic status. So it's really important to not blame the person that is experiencing this, and to be aware that this is something that can happen to anyone, and that in reality, a lot of the times the perpetrators are people that we know or that we feel safe with. So for example, family members or close friends. So what are some of the things that we can do if somebody expresses to us, an adult expresses to us that they experience sexual assault? So the first thing, and very importantly, is to believe the survivor. As we mentioned, that's one of the biggest barriers as to why someone might not open up about the abuse, because they might think that they're not going to be believed. So it's important to believe the survivor and let them know that you believe them. It's important to also recognize the courage that it took for them to speak out about the abuse, to focus on feelings and not details, right? So questioning how the abuse happened, where it happened, the time, the location, all of that. It's okay to allow silences, right? Maybe the person just needs us to listen or just to sit with them, right? Not necessarily to talk or to question. It's important to respect confidentiality and the privacy, especially because sexual assault is something very private, very intimate, something very traumatic. So it's important to respect that person's confidentiality, except of course when it's a minor. Then it's important to talk to a service provider about how to report this abuse if it's something that needs to be done. It's important to also provide information and resources for the survivor. A lot of the times, a survivor might feel alone, or they might feel like there isn't help out there. And letting them know that they are not alone and that there is help can make a world of a difference for someone. And lastly, encourage them to practice self-care. So not only for them, but for yourself as well, right? It's a lot to listen to somebody's experience of sexual assault. So allow them to have that for themselves. So practice self-care, to take care of themselves, and for you to do so as well. If you are interested in learning more about this topic or reaching out to us, please feel free to check us out on our website, or you can also reach out to us via phone at 313-849-3920. Thanks so much for listening.